The 15th pick. And with the 26th pick in the 2019 NFL Draft, the Washington Redskins select Dwayne Haskins, Montez Sweat.
Welcome, all my fellow Redskin brethren and sister. I am your man and resident Redskins fan, Lou. Thank you for joining me here on the Redskins Report. So the time has come. The deed is done. Jay Gruden fired as Redskins head coach, handed his pink slip and asked to box up his things and move on. Now, for me, bittersweet. You know how I feel about Jay. Really liked the guy, did not like the head coach. And I thought he did some really good things with this passing offense. Problem was he didn't do a good job with this rush offense, and he never did a good job of filling out his staff. His defensive coordinators were always the worst. And frankly, he never made guys accountable for mistakes. This was an undisciplined team under Jay Gruden. This was a team that made the same mistakes over and over, failed to make halftime adjustments, failed to make adjustments in general. It was a team that lacked what you need in this league to be consistently good. Jay was consistently average, and that's what he is. And really consistently below average is probably more apt, because Jay's a mediocre to below mediocre head coach. I think he was probably below average as a head coach, and his record reflected that. He was a 7-9 head coach is essentially what Jay Gruden was. That's what the Redskins have been the last, I believe, 3 years under Jay Gruden, and they were heading for disaster this year under Jay. And not all of it his fault, but at the end of the day, you are responsible for the product that you put out on the football field. Jay was the head coach, thus he takes the blame and falls on the sword here. He's the first to go, and there will be a press conference at 1 o'clock headed by Bruce Allen. Let me just say this: Bruce Allen shouldn't be heading this press conference. He should be included in the carnage today, as he should be being fired as well. A wise man once told me there's never a wrong time to do the right thing, and right now, firing Jay Gruden and Bruce Allen would have been the right thing to do. But I'll give them to the offseason. And again, I don't think Bruce is going anywhere, but we shall see. I thought Bruce was gone last year. He wasn't gone then, so we'll see what happens with him. But he'll be leading a press conference that I think will essentially announce the firing of Jay and announce Bill Callahan as the new interim head coach. I honestly don't have any feelings towards that. We all assumed, and we were wrong, or I don't want to speak for you. I assumed that the new head coach would be Kevin O'Connell, but I think they're going with the whole entire Cleveland Browns methodology of how you go about this. First of all, you want a guy, and this isn't Cleveland Browns theology here. This is just universal, league-wide. You want a guy with head coaching experience to take over if at all possible. If you've got a guy in a position that has head coaching experience, you want that guy to take over, because there will be some level of normalcy, because he's done this before. He knows how to handle the interviews and the press, because he's had to do this before. Callahan was tagged with the assistant head coach title, so naturally, it's almost like president, vice president. If something were to happen to the president, the vice president assumes the role of president. Same thing happened here. Jay's ousted, and the assistant head coach is then promoted to head coach. That was Bill Callahan's title, so he gets the job. I don't read too much into that. I think it's probably better this way, that Callahan assumed the overall duty of being head coach, which means you're not just in charge of the offense or just in charge of the defense. You're in charge of the entire operation. And so you give him the title of head coach, allow him to oversee everything. But I want the play calling duty specifically in the hands of Kevin O'Connell. That needs to be announced at 1 o'clock p.m. By Bruce Allen. I need to know that Kevin O'Connell is in control of this show. and offensively, we need to see what his philosophy looks like and what he's going to be able to do. Will there be an uptick in offensive production, or will we still continue to be stale on the offensive side of the football? These are things that we want to see as Redskins fans, because if, in fact, he is what we think he could be, which is a hell of an offensive mind, they're telling us he's Sean McVay 2.0. All right? If that is, in fact, the case, and I've listened to him talk, he sounds the part. Again, sounding and doing are two different things. All right? So I want to see it with my own two eyes. I want to see what this guy can do as a play caller, because Jay tried to make it seem like it was a group effort in terms of what we saw on Sundays offensively. I think that was a Jay effort. Yes, guys had input as to what to do, but Jay was the one calling the plays. All right, I want to see what Kevin O'Connell has. What does his run scheme look like? All right, how does he get guys open? How does he make his quarterbacks more comfortable? How does he demand that guys execute? These are all things I want to see. So I need them to tell me that Kevin O'Connell is going to be our new offensive coordinator. And I also need them to tell me that moving forward, Dwayne Haskins is going to be our starter. These are things that I'm looking forward to at 1 o'clock today. Will I get all of these things? Will they check off all the boxes on the checklist? I do not know. I just know these are things that I'm looking forward to hearing. Don't know if we're actually going to get these things to be put into action or not. Bottom line is, we've got a lot to discuss. We'll have even more to discuss after 1 o'clock. So a lot of what was said at 1 will be featured on the Redskins Nightly News. It will be a special edition of the Redskins Nightly News as the Redskins have moved on from Jay Gruden. No word on Greg Minuski and his job security. At this point, I think they don't want to make too many changes at once. You've already fired the head coach. You can't really fire much more than that in terms of changes at once. So I think they're going to keep Minuski on board as defensive coordinator. And really, after the last 2 weeks, you can fire him. Let's not act as if him doing what he did last year wasn't a fireable offense, and what he has done the first 3 weeks of this season. But the last 2 weeks, the defense generated 4 turnovers versus the Giants. And then last week, they held the Patriots offense to 12 points in the first half of the game. And really, 6 of those points were off of turnovers. So really, at the end of the day, the second half, it was bad defense, but I think the defense kind of got worn down because the offense simply gave them no help. And I don't want to make any excuses. He probably should have been canned as well. But at this point, beggars can't be choosers. I got what I was looking for, because the most important thing is Dwayne Haskins' development, and I want to see him play. And Jay was stunting his growth by continuing to bury him on the bench. I think that this was the right move. And moving forward, we'll see what the Redskins decide to do. Maybe Greg Minuski has been relieved of his duties. Haven't heard that. Don't think he's going anywhere again. They got rid of Jay. I don't assume that they're going to have mass exodus changes in one day. Okay, this isn't the end of the season. It's just week number 6 we're going into. They're not looking to have a total upheaval and uprooting of all the coaches. Jay was the head dog. They got rid of him. And so I think they're going to try to stabilize everything else. And moving forward, Bill Callahan will be running the show. And I'm assuming Kevin O'Connell will be promoted to offensive coordinator. We shall see. In any event, we got what we wanted. At least half of the equation, or a third of the equation. Because I think if you asked most Redskins fans, we would have really liked to have seen Bruce gone, more so than anybody else. If you would have just told me, today I'm waking up to the news that Bruce Allen is fired and nobody else got touched, I wouldn't have had a problem with that. All right? Nobody would have had a problem. As a matter of fact, I probably would be singing, hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. But we just got Jay. And again, not much is going to change, other than the fact that we're probably going to see our first-round pick quarterback, Dwayne Haskins, get in the game. I think we're going to see that. This would be the week to do it if you're going to do it. So that's my assumption. We'll see what happens. The claim all along has been that the coaching staff has been in control of who starts. And maybe Kevin O'Connell thinks, just like Jay did, that Dwayne Haskins doesn't need to play and that he wants to come in and Bill Callahan wants to come in and play the guy that gives them the best chance to win. I hope that's not the case. I hope they understand what's going on here. All right, you're 0-5, your season's done. I understand that you've got 52 other guys in the locker room that want to win and all of this. I don't give a shit about any of that stuff now. All right, wanting to win, you had a chance to do that in week 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. All right, you didn't do it. Now it's time to start developing for the future. All right, you don't want to be a part of it? Cool. Let us know. We'll help you find work elsewhere. All right. But bottom line is, moving forward, everybody needs to be on one accord. This ship is moving in a different direction. The future is now. All right. Dwayne Haskins needs to play. You need to trade Trent Williams. All right. Get off of that hill. All right. Do not die on that hill. Move this man before the trading deadline. Get something for him, and let's start acquiring all of the pieces necessary. You want to move Ryan Kerrigan? Go right ahead. Be my guest. I know that's not going to happen. All right. But you can trade Trent Williams. That definitely can and should happen at this point. Let's start actually moving forward like a responsible organization. I know I'm asking a lot of an organization that doesn't know the definition of responsibility, but let's start acting like a real NFL outfit. So we'll hear from the Prince of Darkness at 1 o'clock. We'll see what he has to say. I know he's not going to fire himself, so at this point, what he says probably not going to move the needle for me, but it will give us a little bit of context and information as to what's going to happen moving forward. If he doesn't say Dwayne Haskins is the starter moving forward, if he doesn't tell me that Kevin O'Connell will assume offensive coordinator role, then I honestly don't care what the Prince of Darkness really has to say. So, in any event, Jay's gone. He's been handed his pink slip. We'll have so much more on this topic on the Redskins Nightly News. It will be a special edition of the Redskins Nightly News in which I will open up the phone lines and allow you guys to tell me what you think you heard today from the Prince of Darkness at 1 o'clock and what you think this organization needs to do moving forward. Looking forward to chopping it up with you guys later on today on a special edition of the Redskins Nightly News. In any event, though, I am a Redskins fan etched in burgundy and gold. My Redskins spirit will never die. Redskins spirit will never fold until we meet again. Hail to our beloved Washington Redskins. Looking forward to hearing from you guys. Looking forward to seeing what's being said. Again, I don't think anything of note will be disclosed, but, and we know when you're dealing with the Prince of Darkness, a lot of times he doesn't field questions. He's just going to come out, make a 5-minute statement, and then leave, which is his go-to move because he's an ass clown just like Dan. But in any event, you take what you can get. We'll see what happens and what the Prince of Darkness has to say. In any event, I'm your man, Louis T. Look forward to seeing you much later on today during the Redskins Nightly News. Hopefully, you guys will be able to join me and chime in. That being said, make sure you like this video, subscribe to the Louis T Network if you haven't already done so as well. I'll see you guys a little bit later on in the day. Have a good one. Any new developments come out between now and 1 o'clock when the Prince of Darkness is to speak, you may see my face again. But again, most likely nothing new will come out until we hear from Bruce Allen at 1 p.m. Until then, you guys have a good one.
Louis T Network.